Yo guys, what's going on? It's Dueling Unlocked here, and today I'm gonna rate every single Duel Links product that came out in 2025. We're gonna be starting with the New Year's box. Technically it was December 31st, but we're gonna count it for this year. And then we'll probably do the same thing next year, and we'll see just the differences of that. This is gonna include both Speed and Rush Duel, because we're gonna include every single product of Duel Links 2025. So, without further ado, guys, let's go ahead and get started. Our first box that we're going to take a look at, and the first thing that released is going to be the Rainbow Overdrive box. So, that's a pretty strong box to start with. That was the New Year's box, of course. As we take a look here, it released on December 31st, 2024. So technically 2024, but we're counting it because it was basically 2025. The cards that included are Crystal Beast. Crystal Beast ended up being insane during KC. Got plenty of tops a few KCs ago. We also got Tri-Brigade. Tri-Brigade probably did not do as well as people would expect. I think it was tier 3 for a little bit there. Dragon Maids themselves were decent at the beginning. They did get used later on with the Dragon deck, so the value of that was still there. Dragoonities, a little bit iffy there. The Gizmek, nothing crazy. Cerabus, this card's actually pretty good, definitely worth it. Of course, emergency call and the main card being Forbidden Droplet. More Tri-Brigade, House. Some Shadol stuff, reprints, I think. So, and Resh, of course. Overall, I think we're gonna rank this box on the value if you went into it like when it came out. That's what we'll say. I think this is a S tier box. Forbidden. Let me turn it down just a bit. There we go. Hopefully, you guys. Oh wait. Oh yeah, here you go. So yeah, we're gonna put Rainbow Overdrive in the S tier. That is gonna be bringing us to the next deck, or the next thing released, which is going to be the Structure deck, which is gonna be the Armed Neos Structure deck. Now this has, of course, Cross Neos, it has Stratos, it has Necrogardna, Liquid Soldier, Neos Fusion, it even has Luster Dragon in it, Miracle Fusion, Sunrise, Great Tornado. This was an insane value structure deck. I think this has to go S tier. I am a hero fan, but you know, I think we gotta do it justice. The value of that, it was a W. Honestly, Konami killed it with structure decks this year, besides one, which was more of a, everyone knew it was gonna be a fun structure deck. Now we're gonna take a look. Another thing that got released in January is going to be the Selection Box, Volume 8, I believe. So we're gonna take a look here at special boxes. Yeah, Selection Box Volume 8 got released. This included Magical Meltdown, Nadir's Servant, Sol and Luna. Didn't really see too much play. Titanium Cider was a chase card. Didn't end up being that great. Other than that, you have the Armed Dragon, that was good in the hero deck. Crystal Keeper never ended up being good. Sodge is a good reprint. Some Amazement stuff here that was new. Invocation, Ghost Mourner. I think the main chase cards of this were going to be Small World, Entis, and Goddess. Goddess is a crazy card, but it was an SR. It's also a selection box, so that it automatically has to lose some points for being a selection box, in my opinion. I'm gonna put it in B tier. Goddess is a really good card, was worth it. Entis was decent. But yeah, other than Goddess, nothing too crazy in that selection box. Nadir's Servant's also pretty good, but it didn't see that insane amount of play. It could be good in the future. This could definitely be a very good one in the future. So now it was our first Rush product of 2025, and that is going to be the Dragon Deck Build Box. So the Dragon Deck Build Box, if we go down here, so you guys can see, we have to scroll all the way here, a little bit farther, and it has the red boost, It had a reprint of Dragius, Illusion Strike, 7 Shift, a lot of these other cards here. Essel reprint. I'm gonna like put it in B tier. I'm not too familiar with the Rush meta, but I think that might be a B tier box with some solid reprints. Red Boost Dragon was also decent, I believe. But now it's time to get into the next speed box, which is going to be the Rush. Or not Rush, what am I talking about? The Rebirth of Flame, which you can see here has Solomon Great, Pyro Phoenix, has Trains, Cristrons, Hita. I mean, Solomon Greats were crazy. Also had the Gemini Ablation. Geminis ended up being pretty good as well. And Battling Boxers ended up being pretty good as well. And this is a mini box. Honestly, when it came out, the value you got from it, none of these decks are really good right now. None of the cards can be like used. If there's any cards that can be used right now, let's see. I mean, Solomon Greats are fine, but all the decks pretty much have fallen off. So I'm gonna still give it an A tier. I think that's fine. If any of the cards were still seeing play in the meta, I would give it an S tier. But I don't think any of them are, so that goes to A tier. But it was an insane value for when you bought it. Just unfortunately, none of the cards are that crazy right now. We have the Ritual deck build box. This is going to be, I believe, the Necros stuff, as well as the Gemini card. That's going to be a C tier in my opinion. I mean, Geminis were decent. Necros never ended up being much. As we scroll up here. Yeah, so I think maybe High Ritual Art, Unicorn, no. Honestly, that might even go. Yeah, we're being generous at C. It might even go down to D tier. That deck build box was pretty bad. Next up is a Rush product. So yeah, we did end up putting in the D tier, which is going to be the Blade, or the next Rush product was Blazing Chemicalization. This had the Pyro deck, as well as it had First Wingman, huge support for heroes. Cyber Rush Dragon. I don't think this deck ended up doing too well past its like initial release. First Wingman still sees play today. It had the Monster Calling, which was crazy for Gaia. Gaia was a crazy deck. Was that this year? Or was that last? That had to be this year if this was released then. So I think just because of that, we are gonna put it in A tier for this box, in my opinion. So yeah, we'll go A tier with the Blazing Chemicalization, sitting right beside the other fire deck in Salamangreats. Now we go to Scarred Resonance, and you guys want to talk about a deck that stuck around the meta forever? That would be Resonators. So Resonators were tier 3 for literally so long. Dinos are still tiered right now. Sub-Terrors are probably the lower end of the deck, or lower end of the spectrum alongside the Springans, Tendangles as well. Still decent. Had the Sky Striker kind as a reprint. So I think with Dinos and Resonators, your value for this box, as well as honestly Excel Synchro Starters comes up in a lot of places as well. DDDs, not so much. I guess, like, unless you're going for... it has Pot of Avarice and Fiendish Golem as well, which aren't terrible cards. Pot of Avarice is generic, Fiendish Golem not as much. And then, I guess, even Crimson Gaia, as well as the Resonator. Where's the rare Resonator? Vision Resonator. Still sees playing Chimera as well. For the time, we're gonna put an S tier. The amount of value you get from that was crazy. Resonators, Dinos, they've been like tier 3 since basically this deck came out. I mean, Resonators were higher on the tier list for sure, but now we go to the Selection Box Mini. Now, this Selection Box Mini, Volume 4, actually was pretty insane. It has Final Bringer, it has Fossil Dig, IP, Audio Market Set Duel, Logia. Yeah, all of these cards are pretty much meta relevant. This is good in Rockets, this is good in Dinos, IP is good in every deck, Final Bringer is pretty much good in any deck, Fossil Dig, of course, good in Dinos as well. I mean, I hate to do it, but I think if any selection boxes deserves S tier, it would be this one. Oh, wait. Is that even... Is that also the prep as well? That has to be the wrong selection, I think. Yeah, that's the wrong selection box. That's the super mini, that's the... This is the imperm one. But yeah, there is another selection box, the one with IP, the super mini. I'm putting S tier. I don't have a picture for it, but that's the one I'm talking about. This is way down the line in November or in September, I'm pretty sure. So I'll just put it down there, I guess. We'll come back to it. But yeah, so S tier for that selection box. We go into the next deck, or the next box, which is going to be History of the Vector. So this says Ancient Gears. Ancient Gears were an insane deck that were insane going turn 2. Exo Sisters have been on the rise recently with the new trap skill. Odd Eyes were, I think, tiered for a tiny bit, if I'm not mistaken, so they weren't a bad card, as well as Sakatama ended up being crazy in the Spirit deck with the Shino Birds. So this, honestly, is another S tier box in my opinion. If you invested in this box, you got your money's worth. Same with these other boxes. That's what I'll say. Now we go into the Worm deck build box. And honestly... I don't think this really did much. Like, Ultimate Flag. I want to say this was probably C tier box. I could be wrong. Tomato watches this, let me know where you would rank these boxes for Rush. This is just like a guesstimate, basically. But yeah, we're gonna put this box in the C tier. And we got another Rush box, which is going to be... This Rush box is going to be a lot better. It is going to be the Eternal Galaxy Road, featuring the Galactica Oblivion, which was insane, the Void, Ultima Witch, Executing Riding, Strange Witch. This was a pretty insane box. I think Light Galaxy dominated for so long. Sevens was really good as well with Strange Witch. I would have to think, and then even Dark Galaxy did pretty well as well. And you get a generic trap as well with Executing Riding. I am gonna put this, our first Rush box, in the S tier. Same goes for the one, we only got one Rush structure deck in 2025. And that is going to be the Sevens Road structure deck. But this structure deck was insane. I guess it really didn't give you much other than the Sevens Road Witch and the Sevens Road Magician. I guess the Charmy Witch was huge, as well as the Sevens Paladin. And you got it for free, so... Pretty insane value right there to build a deck. Sevens is still doing decent in Rush as well. So I'm going to have to put that in S tier. S tier is actually pretty crowded right now. But we also did get another deck in May, and that is going to be Utopia. So this released May 17th, about 10 days after. Utopia was a crazy deck, crazy value, crazy free to play. It dominated for a good amount. It was meta for quite a while. I'd have a hard time not putting this value in S tier. So keep in mind, this is if you went into this product when it first came out, did you get your value? And I'd say if you went in the S tier, you absolutely did. A tier, most likely. B tier, maybe. C tier, probably not. D tier, no, you did not. It was not worth it. Maybe for like one card. Alright, so now we go to Chaos Voltage. Chaos Voltage came out in May 2017, and this features cards like Chimera FTK, Trouble Sunny, Arm Sage. Arm Sage is good for Utopia. App Cologne was crazy for Shaddolls. Crystal Clearwing was crazy for Speedroids. You also ended up with Albion, which was would be crazy for a few different decks. Duels were pretty good. They were tiered for a decent amount. So yeah, this is another box that I think, well, Water Exceeds is probably the one that did not end up doing too well. And the Live Twins were a little baked. But I think with the Speedroid, this might be an A tier box. Yeah, I'm gonna put this in A tier. But I mean, App Cologne was really good for Shaddolls. Albion ended up being really good for Sword Soul as well. And then they had for Utopia as well. Shell Fusion, okay. I think this was definitely an S tier. Okay, I gotta put an S tier. There's too many decks that like benefited from that box. Honestly, Konami did release some pretty banger boxes, changing up the meta all the time. Crazy, crazy cards and stuff in them. Now we go into the next Rush box, which is going to be the Flash of the Flame Wingman one. This had both Utopia, or Baseball, I should say, as well as Heroes, and both those decks did really, really well. I mean, this is some joint tech support. I don't know if they use that in joint tech. They probably do. But I'm not positive on it. Fusion Cancel is a bait card, for sure. But the rest of these cards were really cool. This one, not so much. And you also got the Blue Flame, Enhanced Burst Dragon. This, I mean, with both Baseball and Heroes, I think, and they're both still good decks as well. That's why I'm going to put this one in S and this one in A. I might even consider moving that one down to B, potentially, as well. You see, S tier is pretty crowded. I think Konami did release some pretty crazy boxes today. Or not today, but this year. Let me get back the screen so you guys can see. Oh no. Where is it? Oh, here we go. There you go. You guys can see it now, I think. Alright. Next up, we have another deck build box. Or is this a selection box? Oh, this is selection box for Rush. So, the selection box for Rush is interesting. I believe Cyber Processor is available by other means from this. Heavy Metal, Secret Order, you can get other means as well. I think the value of the selection box definitely went down when there's other ways to get these cards. I'd have to probably give this a C tier ranking, maybe even a D tier ranking for that selection box, but we're gonna put in C for now. Now we go to the Assault Mode deck build box over here. Where are you? Okay, so this had Gustos, and also had Assault Mode, Fiendish Chain, Resonator Reprint, Synchro Overtake. Gustos actually did fairly well. They're not as good nowadays. Assault Mode did okay. I think this is like a B tier box in my opinion. So I'm gonna put this in B tier. And now we go into Raw. Or the Raw box. Which Millennium Duel has some interesting cards. It has Chimera. Chimera was a crazy free-to-play option. Despia was crazy. You also get... Raw was not bad, honestly. It's always a pretty annoying deck to face. Blaster was in here. So pretty... Adamantipator's low-key not terrible. Of course, Dragite's a crazy card. I think this is another S tier. Another S tier box, in my opinion, for Millennium Duel. It is pretty crowded in the S tier, I will say. Then we go into another Rush box with Extreme Overlord. This is gonna have Music Princess and V-Friends. I think the only good box the only good deck in here is going to be the Music Princess. None of this other stuff really did much. Cyber Serpent's okay. I think it might see some play in some other decks. But because Music Princess is like the only relevant deck, I mean it still is insane right now. I think it's like one of the top 2, top 3 decks in Rush. And it is a mini, but I think that's another A tier box in my opinion. Just because there's only one deck from that box that is good. And we now go to the Wings of Genesis. Now this probably is the lowest speed duel box on the list. We get the Flame Wingman. Armed Dragons did not do anything. It does have Tempest. Tempest is probably the saving grace. A reprint of Entis. Heroes, unfortunately, were falling off on this point, even after the box release. Not super great in the meta. They probably should have released... They're probably a little scared to release some support because of how good Heroes were the entire year. So they don't want to go too crazy with them. But yeah, Mutants. Gene Raiders did get a buff. Maybe they're decent. But yeah, I think this is probably the weakest box of Speed Duel. So that means... Honestly, I'm putting it C tier. They're still, like... it's playable cards. You can still play, like, with these decks, whereas D tier for that one, I think makes sense. I guess if we're gonna count the deck build box, then that one might be probably is lower with the Necrons. Okay. Now we go to the next box. Is gonna be the Ultimate Chaos box. This is gonna be a crazy box. We got Blue Eyes, Sword Soul, Exo Sister Martha's in here, Dark Magician, Ice Jades, Eldritch. I mean, this. Do we even have to say anything about this box? S tier. Immediate S tier. The Dark Magician structure deck. I'll say Dark Magicians were decent. They got some tops. Once Mind on Air did leave, though, the value's pretty good for this. You do get your navigation, your soul, your circle. I'm gonna definitely... I think I'd put this in A tier. I just don't think Dark Magician is that great. So it did fall off a little bit. Oh, now we get to that selection box. This selection box that we were talking about earlier. This one has Imperm Pre-Prep. Should all reprints, don't do much now. Resonators, the Thunder Dragon stuff. It did have the Chaos Max. And it did also have Duel. I think that's gonna be an A tier for me. I mean, Intherm is a crazy card, but I think the fact that it's a selection box, I can't put it S. Thunder Dragons have done okay. Nothing crazy. Pre-prep was probably the best card, but now Shino Birds are nerfed, so it also loses a little bit of value there as well. So I'm going to put that in the A tier. Now, next up is another Rush box, and that is going to be the deck build. I think this is the final deck build box on here. And this deck build has Royal Rebels stuff. I haven't seen Royal Rebels do too crazy recently. Matarian stuff as well. And then, of course, oh yeah, here's where the other Cyber stuff got reprinted as well in this box. So I think a C tier for this makes sense. Especially because of the reprints and the value. And then we go to... Okay, I definitely missed one, because where's Shiny Shady? Shiny Shady is in this one. The July box. With Matarium, Imaginary Reactor. That one, just off Shady alone, I'm putting it A tier. Yeah, I'll put the July deck build box A tier for Rush. Apparently it didn't show up on the pictures, but that's where I put that. Because Shady's an insane card, of course. Man, I mean, Natarian's not bad, it's just nothing crazy. And, what was the other archetype? It's the Yami Ruler? Yeah, I don't think those cards really did much. So yeah, the Matarian stuff and Shiny Shady A tier. We'll put it A tier. So the Cyborg. This one has Royal Rebels, Cyber Processors. Yeah, I think C tier for this one's fine. Then we go to the last structure deck of 2025, VES. Probably is C tier in my opinion. VES is playable. It's a fun deck. I don't think people thought it was going to be broken or anything, but I think that's a fair spot to put it. Now we go into the final 3 boxes. First up is going to be Savage Shot. Savage Shot will be... it has Warlord Savage Dragon in it. It's going to be crazy. Decode Heat Soul's also crazy. Icarus Attack is okay. The Halloween stuff is whatever. Lee Romancers were okay. Rockets are pretty good. So are Valence. They're like borderline tier 3 for each of those decks. Small World reprint. I think I'm putting this top of B tier in my opinion. None of the decks have got above tier 3, but it does have Warlord Savage as well as Heat Soul, so I think that's fair to put that there. So B tier for the Warlord Savage box. And then we have the newest box here, which is Predator of the Abyss. This has Makonko. Makonko, I don't think is that great. 10,000 is not that great. But I do think this has both Bee-Troopers and Predaplants, which have seen some decent results. And the fact that it's a mini box, I think putting this in A tier. Bottom of A tier in my opinion. If it was a main box, it would be B tier, but because it's a mini box with 2 good decks, I think A tier is a good spot for that. And finally, the last box is going to be the new Rush box. Probably a little too early to determine where this goes. I think Neos is decent, Aqua's decent, Over Rush Storm is going to be a good card in the future. Curse reprint as well. I think a solid A tier for the new Rush box is also fine. So yeah, that is gonna complete our 2025 Duel Links tier list. Let me know what you guys think. What do you think I should rate higher? What do you think I should rate lower? And I'll catch you guys next time. Remember to hit that like, comment, and subscribe. Peace out, everyone.